It's time for the mic drop. I'll end each show by going deep on one topic affecting our community and hopes we can all learn a little more. In the fall of 2014, journalist Sarah Koenig and producer Julie Snyder released Serial, an investigative journalism podcast they co-created and produced. The pod was one of the first of its kind. Narrated by Koenig, it was to cover one nonfiction story over the course of a single season. Now, season one investigated the 1999 strangulation death of Maryland native Hae Min Lee and her ex-boyfriend Adnan Syed, the young man convicted of and sentenced to life for killing her. At the time, they were 18 and 17 respectively. The show was an immediate hit, quickly becoming something of a cultural touchstone. Then podcasting was a relatively new and unexplored medium, but Serial quickly became one of the most popular, downloaded hundreds of millions of times, and respected, the first ever to win a Peabody Award. Koenig had sought to help in researching the case from the Innocence Project at the University of Virginia School of Law. And as millions of people worldwide were listening to the case being unpacked weekly, for many of them, the certainty of Syed's guilty verdict came into question. Many of you, I'm sure, have listened to the podcast. I have myself. So you're familiar with the inconsistencies it presented. The narratives didn't establish guilt or innocence, but what it did do, for some people at least, was raise reasonable doubt, leading to a new investigation by Baltimore's state attorney's office. And on Monday, the overturning and vacation of Adnan Syed's conviction. By the way, this doesn't clear him. He's been released to GPS-monitored home detention. The state was given 30 days to retry or dismiss the case. Now, I'm not here to assess Syed's guilt or innocence. There are already enough people on either side of the equation willing to do that for you. All I have to say on that is that we've seen many people, more than I care to count, released from prison after being found innocent of crimes they were convicted of, victims themselves of rushed or shoddy police work. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened in this case, but I am saying that situations like this aren't unheard of, far from it. And what I do want to highlight is the power of media and public perception. We'll probably never be able to say with absolute certainty that the Serial podcast was the absolute reason behind Syed's release after 2+ decades in prison. But I have to think that the fact that people everywhere were discussing the case nonstop played a leading role in it. It had to. The doubts it raised about the justice system and its treatment of the people mired within it became very real for people who normally wouldn't have any interaction with it. And I believe it's revelations like these, coming from cases and projects like this, that may help influence justice reforms. I'm waiting to see what the state is going to do, retry or dismiss. I also want justice for Hae Min Lee and her family. And I want justice for Adnan Syed and his. Maybe finally, thanks to a podcast, we can get both.